I'm Adam Marino.
And I'm Mike Marino. That's right, we're related.
We are two cousins talking music and how it relates to us.
And why it should relate to you.
This is How It's Related. Unique New York. Guns N' Roses. Kiss. Iron Maiden.
The arsonist has oddly shaped feet.
Hui. So, it is Wednesday. We're back. And this actually is going to be fun because of some fun stuff that we were able to do this weekend, and want to talk through everything that is Coachella. But first I want to start Saturday. This past Saturday was Record Store Day. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to lie to the good people, the 18 people that listen to this, and lie and say, yeah, we are geared up. It was like, oh, look. Here's what it's like. In Tommy Boy, when Tommy gets hit with a 2x4, and then David Spade goes, prehistoric forest.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly, because we went and got stuff to go to a barbecue. Not a cookout or a grill out. We went to a barbecue.
It was a BYOS.
Yeah, which is a great idea. Bring your own steak. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So
anyway, we're sitting in the parking lot. Literally across the street is a record store, and I go, and there's a sign in the window that says Record Store Day, and I went, hey, it's Record Store Day.
I'm like, hey, it's Rex Manning Day.
Right.
So
giddy up.
We definitely totally went over, and we
totally knew this was today.
But it does work out because now we can talk some things, all things records and whatnot. And it was really cool. The place was buzzing, and here we are going in, and the place, shout out to Wood and Nickel. I grew up going there to buy CDs and stuff while you were in California in some cool band. No one likes a bragger. And so you're like, what I do?
I
did nothing. I played I play the notes.
I'm sitting here.
I'm playing the notes.
I'm quiet.
And we're playing the notes.
Yeah.
So anyway, during that time, I was buying CDs, and here you see My Beloved Collective Soul. Found some of that. So it was fun. But here's the funny clip of the week. Here is So here you see the lady from the news channel, okay, cool, local story. And she talks to us for what seemed to be at least 4 or 5 minutes.
It was solid gentleman's 5 minutes.
Yeah. And we offered banter. We were witty. You piggybacked on.
I had prepared a series of lectures.
With some notes. You had note cards. It went well. We discussed this very podcast. We told them that this very Wednesday will be the show. We will talk about it. It was hooray. And here is what News Channel 15, God love them, this is what they decided to air. I don't think I've ever seen it this packed, honestly. And again, I've lived here since 1988.
Thousands of vinyl records are...
That's it.
Mm-hmm. I had the thought too. I was like, they're gonna cut it down to yeah.
What? Cool.
Yeah.
So
you like records? Yes. And anyway,
anyway, the next story is the Fort Wayne Tin Caps play baseball, and
yeah,
what? That was super funny. We tried to make it yes, record, we were all into it when we just prehistoric forest. It's right there. So that was cool. But I do want to talk through a couple things. What did you pick up? And I want to talk about one of the records in particular. So I happen to have them right here.
Oh,
I didn't text you.
Crazy. So Sleep is a band that is you could call them stoner metal, if you will.
Dude.
I don't like the connotation, that genre. Just
you don't like it?
I don't like associating it with marijuana because it's just it is what it clouds you. You have preconceived notions. It's just very heavy metal. That's all it is.
Okay.
Slow heavy metal music playing. That is a single. Technically, these are new. They released a bunch of them, so this is just one song on here. But the song is 16 minutes and 48 seconds long. If you notice,
that's almost 17 minutes.
Oh my God, that record label there.
Third Man.
Yeah. Do you know what that is? This is Jack White's company out in Nashville.
Okay.
I believe Nashville. So Third Man, Jack White's company, did a pressing of this and the back of it. So there's a song on one side. You're not going to be able to see it on the video. Your song, and on the back
Whoa.
is just etched.
No, that is
This
pretty cool.
cool artwork. Yeah,
No,
I like it.
That is.
And they have a bunch more. I don't know if this is all going to eventually be an album or if they're just doing one-off releases, but I will buy all of them. Very droney, sludgy, slow, heavy metal music. Love
Yeah.
it. Super good.
No, that's
Put it
pretty
on.
cool.
Cece was not impressed.
CC the dog.
Cece the dog. Secondly, I bought a record that I already have. Yeah.
You didn't take inventory.
Shit happens.
On your-
Yeah, well, when you're there and you're in a panic, that's
You're
why when we're at a family dinner, I just panic and order spaghetti because I can't think of anything. Same thing.
Yeah.
This is my spaghetti
I'll
order.
have the Pescetti.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'll do this.
Yeah, Era Vulgaris. Another great album. A lot of their song structure is just very linear. I love that. Very different from Like Clockwork or Songs for the Deaf or anything in between. But yeah,
So a couple things I wanted to ask you is, tell me what album you were looking for and what did the guy tell you and why do you think that is?
I've been looking for Like Clockwork for a while. ... Like Clockwork. What is that called? An ellipses?
Yeah.
3 dots? Yeah.
Nice job out of you.
Well, I know things.
You're not very learned.
Oh,
so
well,
that's
neither
neither am I.
Okay. That's very mean, but okay.
We're Marinos. We're
hey,
not
yeah.
learned.
Marino.
This is a house of learned doctors.
Yeah. I told him, because they asked, did you find everything you were looking for? Which in itself is a pretty profound question to ask somebody on the spot. But, and I said, no, I did my best. But the last time I was in there, I think the same thing. I was looking for that album and he told me the same thing. Like, oh, it's just not available. It's hard to find. You can find them on the internet.
Yeah, and pay triple
Sometimes
or more.
there's a pressing that's like $1,000, which I want it, but I don't
Not
need it.
for 1,000. I mean,
And I think it's just the artwork it's just all blacked out.
you can build a
There's
back
something.
patio.
There might be.
or
I don't know if
something.
there's anything extra on it, but yeah, that album is not available. I can get it on compact disc, which I don't want.
No.
But in 20 years,
It will
it's
be
going to be CD
collector's-
store day.
I,
Yeah,
I don't even. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
because cassettes are that cool vintage thing now. That's cool again.
I feel like it's gonna jump. That's interesting.
No, it's it's just a history repeating itself with fashion trends, with music trends,
Yeah.
with everything. Every 25, 30 years, things just go round and round.
I feel like because of what's in the cassette, I feel like they'll skip it and go just to CDs that in the vintage world, because cassettes are very, very difficult to keep. Like records are easier to maintain than the cassette tape with the wiring and all that jazz. Like that was kind of crazy
Yeah,
to think about it.
but you can't rewind a record with a pencil. You don't need to rewind a record. Did you ever do that with a pencil?
Yeah.
So it fits perf.
Yeah,
Perf.
it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Tapes they don't sound great. It's not.
CDs, I feel like if you have a CD player and you're 20 years old now, so like you don't know what CDs are if you're 20, I feel like it is a cool concept because it is like having Spotify, who we are still madly in love with, but like you can jump from a song. In a cassette and a record, you just cannot do that, which
Yeah.
speaks to an album. Like that's why Sgt. Pepper is so great, because why would you want to change any song anyway? That album is like one continuous song. It bleeds into beautifully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back then, that was cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that part, the convenience, that it's neat. The technology of it's neat or whatever. But there's a big audiophile argument against that, against CDs and digitizing things, because, and I mean, I'm not saying anything that Neil Young hasn't already said. Neil Young is a big proponent of this stuff. CDs, in order to do the magic, the digitizing, and basically compress the files to fit that format to burn onto a disc to be readable, it literally compresses the
sound.
The sound. So you're essentially, you've
Changing
added
it.
effects, you've compressed, you've mastered and mixed, and you have the finished product, and then you're just adding more compression. So it doesn't give you the full effect like a record does, where like clockwork. If you listen to it on CD or on Spotify, it's great. If you listen to it on vinyl, you hear things that you don't hear. You hear, oh, he's like beating a hubcap, and just in the background, like you hear things, you hear it as it was intended to be heard.
Every song on a record actually has cowbell. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
They take it out.
There's a special cowbell groove in it.
That does make sense.
It's called the cow groove, I think.
Way to take that and just keep going with it.
Yeah. No, I got more.
Until
Sit down. Everyone shut up.
Yeah. That was solid. That is a solid Instagram reel right there.
Wonderful.
But why did you want that? Well, I guess I might have answered it. Is that why you were looking for it? Because you know that it's going to sound, and you're like, ooh, I really want to hear it. Have you heard it before?
I used to own it.
Oh. Is it Frisbee somewhere?
I don't own it anymore. It's in New Mexico, I believe.
So,
yeah, I wanted that. But I would like all of my favorite bands catalog. I want all of their albums, and I'm getting there. That's going to be a hard one, though. That one I might have to.
Yeah. And what's the name of it again?
Like Clockwork. And I've been talking about that album to anyone who will listen since 2013.
Now you have a platform.
Yeah.
Here it is.
But I've told you about it many, 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 many times. And then maybe last week sometime.
What did we listen to?
Well, you texted me and you're like, hey, I heard this thing.
Oh, so.
Yeah. And I'm
so
like,
shout out, first of all, to shoutouts, as you like to do.
Oh, yes. We're shouting out microphones today.
But shout out to this. We're based in Fort Wayne, so most people probably listen in Fort Wayne. I will tell you, Bobby McGee's inside of Pierre's on St. Joe has $5 lunches, and I work right across the street, so I'm there very often. And I was there one day, and they just have like random jukebox type stuff going on, and I sound-hounded it or SoundCloud. I don't remember what it is because I don't do it as much anymore. When that thing first came out, I was walking up in the grocery store, bam, like everything. I'm like, what is this? Like, that was a cool invention. Anyway, I did it.
Soundhound, yeah.
And I did it, and I texted you and was like, dude, what is this? And you're like, dude, that's Queens of the Stone Age. Or whatever.
That is the album of albums, yeah.
And I was like, dude, this song is fantastic. And then you're like, all right, well, the next time we're together, basically, I want to hear that album. So then we're on Record Store Day. We're going to the Bring Your Own Steak. And so I'm like, we brought our own Queens of the Stone Age. So we listened pretty much.
We had one song left on the album.
Okay, yeah.
So
like
we listened to almost all of it.
Yeah. And man,
I was singing as loud as I could every word.
It is a really good album. And it was the first time that I can't remember. I was listening to Korn, No, that wasn't Follow the Leader.
Yeah, it was Follow the Leader.
So I was listening to that earlier that day. And it's funny, we were talking about this, and I assumed I would bring it up now, that we think through certain albums, and when they first came out, because if it was a popular band, so Korn was popular at the time of Follow the Leader, might have been their peak. Would you be willing to argue that it could be they could be at their peak at Follow the Leader?
I think that
was that album,
the most popular one. Yeah,
I mean, right? Okay, so that's the time frame, right?
Is that like Freak on a Leash and all that stuff.
Yeah, dude. Like that's when they went mainstream. Like there was people who knew what Freak on a Leash was, who had no business knowing what Freak on a Leash was. Like, how do you know that song?
Yeah,
kind of, right?
Yeah.
So okay,
because that must have been number 3.
Album number.
Yeah, was it 98 or 99? 98?
Yeah, I think around there.
94 was the first one.
Adidas.
95, 96 was Life is Peachy,
Peachy.
which is the second one.
Yeah.
And maybe that tracks if they did a bunch of touring in between, which they probably did. Yeah, that might be the third one.
That's pretty good
Could be
as
wrong,
far
yeah.
as how popular they are. All right. So when a popular band like Korn releases an album, automatically back then as a teenager, I was under the impression that every song was lit, and I just told myself that and kept listening to it. And then, 20 years later, you listen to it and you're like, no, those 4 songs are not very good
This
at all.
does not hold up.
Yeah, it does not hold up. Now, there's some that do, and I was still singing through. I still remember the lyrics, like, even though I hadn't heard in a while. It's like, okay, yes, this song is good. This was fun, but yikes. Just because you do a song with Ice Cube does not mean that it's going to be a good song. And
Sure.
It's like Children of the Corn. Yeah, no.
Stop it.
Let's stop it. Yeah.
Stop it, Ice Cube. Are we done yet?
That's
Anyone?
He made that movie
Yeah.
about, are we there yet? Yeah, not too much
Thanks
longer.
for getting that joke.
Thanks, yeah. So, okay, that was just thinking through that. Then I'm like, okay, it's like Stone Temple Pilots. Like, what artist did I? But then I look back and I'm like, well, no, Soundgarden. No, I will stand by Soundgarden. Those songs around that time, the album that they had, that was still, with Spoon Man, and like every song hits pretty much on that's Black Hole Sun.
Oh, so that was Super Unknown.
Yeah, Super
It was
Unknown.
a bit earlier.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we're all in the same, 4 or 5 years, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Once you're in high school, it doesn't matter like what year it
All
is.
bleeds together, I guess.
Yeah. So it's weird how some of those, and Stone Temple Pilots and Nirvana, those still have staying power. Like a lot of the songs are pretty good, I think. But yeah, it's weird how a band as popular as, which that's why maybe they get a little bit like Limp Bizkit, why they maybe get made fun of is because for that time, it's anyone who rides BMX and is going to the X Games. Yeah, Limp Bizkit. But dude, within 10 years, it's not a thing. Like, it's not really.
Well, it got, you get typecast for being that, but Fred Durst was, I mean, they were that generation, Nickelback or whatever.
Yeah.
Just, it was cool to hate them.
Right.
And, I mean, not every song is great, but they've had like a resurgence again.
Yeah, very weirdly.
And I think it's because like generations, the younger people listen to it and they don't know. Maybe they do from documentaries and stuff or whatever, or hearsay, but you don't know. You don't have any of the static that comes along with it. And like, oh, that kind of rips. Oh, Wes Borland is like an amazing creative guitar player.
Well, okay, there are some things, yes, that you can point to, but like overall, when we listen to it, it's almost like it just takes you back to that time when it was popular. You don't listen to it now and be like, that's such a good song.
Right.
You listen to it and you're like,
I remember
when that came out. And
remember when my shoulder didn't hurt all the time? Oh.
Remember when you did it for the Nookie? I was actually when that song reached its peak, I was, reeked? Did I
stunk up the
joint?
Whole place.
I meant to say reached its peak, and I almost said reeked its peach. I talk good. I'm a professional podcaster. So when it reached its peak, I was visiting California. Do you remember that? It was 99.
I remember being at Greg and Lou's house, and you were playing like
that song and
Other, maybe.
Yeah, and Prodigy, Fat of the Land.
You were, and I was like,
dude, that album is good.
What, Prodigy?
Yeah.
Well, sure.
Fat of the Land is pretty good.
Yeah.
So why are you making that face in 99?
Because I was into satanic death metal. If it wasn't
very fair
death metal, it was country.
It was right. It was, yeah. I get that. Like, you're so like off that you're like anything just not Yeah, I get it. That is funny.
And that stuff I listen to now, like as a novelty thing, like, oh, Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, like, oh, I remember when I wanted to murder everyone I met.
Yeah.
And just like life was, yeah. No, that's funny. Yeah, this is the exact reason why, again, we kind of started this show. Again, if you are catching this for the first time, make sure you check out episode 1 to kind of get to know us, and then the brackets were kind of funny to like in its ridiculousness to really go through and say Madonna over George Strait or whatever. But this is more of what we like to do, is just talk through like, remember this, and then it's kind of the idea of why certain music or certain songs or certain albums or certain records relate to us and why it should relate to you. Like, it hopefully takes you back to like albums that maybe it wasn't Stone Temple Pilots, maybe it wasn't Soundgarden, maybe it wasn't something like that, but you have a band that you're like, oh, every time I hear them, I wouldn't even see them in concert now, they're not that great, but when I hear them, it just takes me back to, I remember what I was doing, I remember when life was just better, you know? So
life was better.
It was always better in the past. What is that Andy Bernard quote from The Office? I wish there was someone that came and told you when you were in the good old days that you were in them.
Yeah.
Because it's always later, you know, I can't remember how it was worded, but basically that was like one of his last appearances when he wanted to be like American Idol or something like that. Remember, he leaves The Office.
I don't think I got that far.
Because Michael Scott was gone by then. That's fair to like not keep up with it. But Andy Bernard became branch manager for like half a second. He wanted to be a star. So he took his guitar and moved to like be, you know, and that's what he said in his closing interview, you know, was, I wish when you were in the good old days that someone told you that you were in them so that you could actually enjoy it. Like you could actually know it, you know? So, all right, hang out with us next week. For now, we will say bye-bye. Okay, so if you happen to like this episode, please tell a friend.
And if you didn't like this episode, please tell nobody.
Be sure to like and subscribe on Apple and Spotify and, of course, YouTube.
Follow us on social media as the links are in the show notes.
Remember to check out our next episode where we will tell you how it's related.